Top 5 Greatest Superhero Live-Action TV Shows. What is it that draws us into the world of comic books and superheroes? Why do so many people get into the particular stories about people from other planets, victims of horrible accidents, fighters of lost powerful artifacts, or creators of sophisticated technology, or even immortals that want to fight for justice? What makes us want to let our imagination join the heroes and villains as we go inside their worlds made of boxes of images or TV cameras? What makes one a devoted fan of one series and not the others? For your entertainment and thought-provoking on the answers, this video will list what I consider the top 5 best adaptations of comic book superheroes to live TV, the first of 4 videos on the subject of superheroes in popular media. There are some spoilers ahead, just for your awareness, so let's get started. Number 5. Batman. Ever since the campy 1960s era incarnation of the Caped Crusader and his youthful ward Dick Grayson, many have referenced the TV show in a fair number of platforms. Adam West and Burt Ward did a great favor to us that will live with us for a long time, marking their spots in the media's Hall of Fame and in this countdown. Often airing as two-parters, usually with some remarkably Rube Goldberg traps that the villains might put them into in order to dispose of them, we're invited to tune in, same bat time, same bat channel, to see their escapes, usually by some means of a technology or a chemical they just happen to bring with them on the spur of the moment. Listed as a parody of comic books, Batman still sits as a benchmark for the industry, as it was discovered people like having a little camp in a serious work. Number 4. Wonder Woman. Who can forget the first ever show to feature a female as the lead character with superpowers? Who can really ignore the blue-eyed brunette Linda Carter in her show that defined a generation? Who can figure out how that costume stayed on? Jumping 2 generations, the focus of the show was on the Amazon princess and her exploits and adventures with the other character of Steve Trevor. Borrowing a little bit of camp, especially in the late 70s style of computer and robot technology, the show took the art of making a comic book come to life to a whole new level. Although it's not clear if Diana and Steve Trevor ever did go out, it's clear she feels an obligation, maybe even a bit of a romantic feeling to the man. Going along with the basic premise as a graphic novel, the show did try to keep the audience entertained with a lot of cool effects for the kids, a strong female presence for the adult woman, and for the men, that costume. Number 3. The Incredible Hulk. Don't make me angry. You wouldn't like me when I'm angry. This became the catchphrase of the character of Bruce Banner, a definite Jekyll to a very green and very strong Hyde. Featuring Bill Bixby as Banner, the show features him hitchhiking from place to place in order to find a cure for his poisoning by gamma radiation, something that is followed up in the movies, and the introduction of bodybuilder Lou Ferrigno as the title character of the Hulk. Using slow motion to give the illusion of great strength, it's clear they wanted to give Banner the same kind of tortured existence that kept Jekyll obsessed and determined to get rid of his monstrous counterpart, Mr. Hyde. This led in part to Mr. Ferrigno being in 2 of the movies that feature his character as an extra and even doing the voice of the Hulk in a lot of them. Still, I have one tiny little irritation about the live-action movies. Having the TV movies at the end with the eponymous death of the Incredible Hulk, one has to wonder why a creature supposedly invulnerable to pain and damage, one that's so strong, could actually die in such a basic manner as falling out of a helicopter. Now for the next one, I have a bit of an admission to make. There are those that prefer DC over Marvel and vice versa. Frankly, I don't care to choose. Both add in great material and should both be considered good enough. So number 2, Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. With its meteoric rise in popularity, this Joss Whedon adventure piece, tying in with the Marvel Cinematic Universe, follows an ensemble cast of characters with a leader that shouldn't be there, except for a trip to Tahiti, the magical place, a hacker with a mysterious past who uncovers her own superpowers, a brilliant doctor and mechanic who have feelings for each other but don't act on them until the third season. A pilot in a lot of pain that doesn't ever show it except in the way she plays with the bad guys, and a sinister double-dealing super agent that ends up a bad guy, ultimately killed at the end of season 3, and adding in another Marvel character, Ghost Rider, in the 4th season. The agents work to contain threats to society, often involving a lot of cool gadgets, guns, and martial arts, and they battle the forces of darkness that seek to dominate the world. With a darker turn for the 4th season, this narrator can't wait to see what Team Whedon does with the agents next. With all that, with some pretty awesome shows in this countdown already, which one is number 1? Which superhero TV show, of which there are still many more, did I think was worthy of being first on this list? Number 1. Supergirl. With so many DC shows created by the same team, it was difficult to decide which one was the greatest, but I ultimately decided on the one that features Melissa Benoist in the title character, and here's why. Having lived in the shadow of Superman for so long, Supergirl has gone through several deaths and transformations and many incarnations, but here, now, she steps out of the Man of Steel's shadow and into her own light, becoming her own character along with other DC favorites. And here's the lowdown. Kara Zor-El, aka Kara Danvers, was sent to Earth along with her cousin Kal-El in order to be his protector and defender. But her pot caught the edge of the blast wave that destroyed Krypton, sending it off course into the Phantom Zone, where she stayed for long enough time that when she finally did get to Earth, Kal-El had grown up to be Superman, and she was still a 13-year-old kid. So she tries to hide her powers until she's forced to use them, coming out as Supergirl, as well as staying the assistant for the snarky, overbearing Cat Grant, played beautifully by Calista Flockhart. With her own relationships and her own path to go on, it's little wonder her cousin doesn't really make an appearance until, it's rumored, the 2nd season. Except for little clips here and there that show an affection between them. But there are 2 things in this narrator's mind that give Supergirl the edge over the others. First is James Olsen. Always with Superman, Jimmy Olsen would be somewhat like a teenager with a fandom of Superman, but here he's grown up. He's had relationships of his own and has his own set of values and feelings in the series. His relationship with Kara is definitely worth the wait, as they both do have obvious feelings for each other and finally act on them, something it took a couple of other characters in this list 3 seasons to do. Then there's the other little pet peeve I have about comic books that was addressed in the pilot episode. All too often, the heroes in comic books are shown as physically attractive, with thick muscles in the male characters and a lot of skin with the females, even enhancing some of the features in the artwork to ridiculous proportions. But with Supergirl, they took care of that issue. Listing a version of the comic book costume, Kara declared that she wouldn't even wear it to the beach, and things went more modest. Now, with a character all her own, a vulnerability that is rarely seen, and Miss Benoit's very eye-smiley smile, Supergirl earns her spot as number 1. So that's it. Please like, comment, and subscribe as a new video with another